Please be seated. We're back on the record. Case number 12-CF-1083A. Are we ready to bring the jury in?
We are, Your Honor.
Yes. They're going to approach you and have you look at a few photographs and see if you had recognized any of those. Okay?
Good afternoon, Madam. Just so we're clear, just state your name again.
Jeannie Manalo.
Still under oath whenever you testified this morning?
Yes.
Great. I have a few questions and pictures to show you in reference to what your testimony was before. I'm going to start this way. I think it might be most relevant. Let me ask you, what I would like you to focus on for the purpose of these questions is in reference to the comparison that you made in your mind regarding the relative size of George Zimmerman and Trayvon Martin. You had said you looked at pictures of Trayvon Martin, correct? You were to make that determination?
I didn't look at pictures. I saw it on the TV.
Pictures on TV?
Yes.
Okay. So the purpose of these questions right now are to see what pictures it was you remember looking at as part of your foundation for comparison. Okay? You've seen that photograph?
Yes.
Okay. And this was one of the ones that you used for your comparison?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm sorry. She's identified Defense Exhibit U for identification purposes. Not this photograph.
Yes.
This was one that you used. And that is Defense Exhibit S. And how about this photograph?
Yes.
Another one that you used for your comparison? Defense Exhibit T. And this photograph?
Yes.
And this you used for comparison purposes?
Yes.
That is Defense Exhibit V. V as in Victor? Sorry. This photograph?
No.
Never saw this photograph. Well, strike that. Did not use a photograph like this for comparison purposes.
I didn't see that photograph.
Okay, so this one.
No.
Similar short
No.
crop of the eye.
No.
For this limited purpose, you know, those are the only ones.
May I inquire?
Yes, you may.
That very limited. These photographs that were shown to you by Mr. Americ now, did you see these prior to saying that there was a weight difference or build difference between Mr. Zimmerman and Mr. Martin? Or was this after? When was this asked? When did you see these photographs in relation to making the statement that there was a size difference between Mr. Martin and Mr. Zimmerman?
When did I see the picture?
Yeah. Did you see those before or after?
After. After?
After what?
After. I saw it in the news. After the event?
Okay. Did you see those? Okay, after the event.
Yes.
And prior to making the statement that you made where you said there was a weight difference or a height difference between the two individuals?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
No further questions for the proffer of sorts. I think we're ready for the jury then.
Okay. Which, are we ready to bring the jury in?
I believe we are.
Okay. Let's go ahead and bring them in.
The jury is present.
Please be seated. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And while you're settling in, I'll go ahead and ask you my questions. During the lunch hour, did any of you, and if your answer is yes to any one of my questions, please raise your hand. Did any of you during the lunch hour have any discussions amongst yourselves or with anybody else about this case? No hands are being raised. Did any of you read or listen to any radio, television, or newspaper reports about the case? No hands are being raised. Did any of you use an electronic device to do any independent research about the case, people, places, things, or terminology? No hands are being raised. And finally, did any of you read or create any emails, text messages, Twitters, tweets, blogs, or social networking pages about the case? Thank you. No hands are being raised. Ms. Manella, I'll remind you, you're still under oath. And Mr. O'Mara, you may continue.
Thank you, Your Honor. Again, ma'am, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Before the lunch break, we were talking about what you used to come up with your opinion that there was a size differential between Mr. Zimmerman and Mr. Martin, correct?
Yes.
And we talked about some photographs that you viewed. Is that correct?
Yes.
I'm going to, if I might, Your Honor, since they've been previously identified, I was going to put them on the screen for her to identify. But no, I'm sorry, let me do it in front of the jury.
Are you moving them into evidence? And is there an objection?
I would move the entirety of what's been previously identified in the proper evidence, Your Honor.
And that would be which letters?
Those were
S, T, U, and V?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections?
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay, S will come in as defense exhibit number 2. T will, 12. T will come in as defense exhibit 13. U will be 14, and V as in Victor will be 15. You're going to put them up? You want the lights down?
Yes, if you would, Your Honor. Hold on. Why would I press the light? Thank you. Sorry, Your Honor. Can you see that screen?
Yes.
Is this one of the photographs that you looked at in coming up with your sort of description of a difference in size between the two?
Yes.
Do you identify that as both a regular and then photoshopped picture of Trayvon Martin?
Yes.
Would you agree that that is, as we talked about earlier, simply a shoulder and head shot of Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Can you see this photograph? Yes, it is. It's slightly different, Your Honor. Let me just get the right one. Maybe some help. And I'll do this one next, Your Honor. Why is it not the same? You may recognize this photograph.
Yes.
Is this a photograph that you used to help you in your comparison between Mr. Zimmerman and Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay. Give me a guesstimate of the age you think the person in that photograph is?
11, 12?
Okay. And how about this photograph? Recognize this photograph?
Yes.
And this was also one that you used in your comparison between Mr. Zimmerman on the night of February 26, 2012 and Mr. Martin, correct?
Yes.
What's your guesstimate as to how old that person is?
16?
If I might approach the witness, Your Honor, just to make sure we have the proper...
Take that down.
Yes.
Thank you.
Let me show you what's been now entered into evidence as defense 14 and ask if you can identify that photograph as well.
Yes.
And is that also a photograph of Trayvon Martin?
Yes.
And also one that you utilized in making this comparison between Trayvon Martin's relative size and George Zimmerman's relative size?
Yes.
Now I would like to publish this to the jury.
You may do so.
Your husband had taken a photograph of George Zimmerman's injuries that night, did he not?
Yes.
And you've seen that photograph, correct?
Yes.
I believe that was licensed to ABC, correct?
Licensed to ABC.
Was it sold or licensed to American Broadcasting Company? That's how they got the picture?
I don't know.
Okay. Then I approach the witness.
Yes, you may.
This is in evidence as Exhibit 76, Your Honor.
Okay, there's an objection.
The relevance, I don't believe. I don't want to make a speaking objection.
Okay, please approach.
Am I approach the witness?
Yes, you may.
Without showing this to the jury just yet, let me show you Evidence Exhibit 76. Is this the photograph that your husband took?
Yes.
Okay. Did you see these injuries of Mrs. Zimmerman that night?
No.
Did you see them any time from the photograph that night? Did your husband, for example, show you
No.
the injuries? When was the first time you saw this photograph?
A few weeks later.
Thank you. You had testified earlier, I think. You understand that Mr. Zimmerman's on trial for second-degree murder, correct?
Yes.
And you had testified earlier that as far as the size or the comparison of the two people, at first you testified that you can only see shadows, correct?
Yes.
And then you testified that you, as to the size comparison, you could have been mistaken. Is that correct?
The only way I can find out for now if I can see Martin's recent picture.
Yes, ma'am. Then, Your Honor, with that in mind, we'd like to have a moment. You may need to address this person at the bench, Your Honor. I don't want to show her something until that's
Well, I
been
think you need to
accomplished.
show it to counsel first.
This was marked and previously given to him just a couple minutes ago, but I'll show it to him again, Your Honor. Approach the witness, Your Honor.
Yes, you may. You want to show counsel first?
Yes, this is in evidence as States 45.
Yes, you may approach.
Let me show you a copy of evidence of State 45. Ask if you can identify that person.
Yes.
Let me show you what.
I don't object to the second one. I don't object to the first photograph.
That's what I thought we should. approach before.
I think you need to show what you intend to show her to counsel first, and then if you need.
I have no objection to the first photograph that Mr. O'Mara showed, which is a picture of Mr. Zimmerman. I do have a second regarding the second photograph.
Could you tell me what the letter is for that one?
Yes, Your Honor. It is identified as R for identification purposes.
Okay, and the court has previously ruled on that. My ruling stands.
And I would like to be heard on that further request now. If the witness has identified the request to make a comparison in court, I would like to be heard on that.
That was shown to this witness, and she said she did not recognize it. So that's the basis for the court's ruling. If you want to show her a picture that she said she recognized, which would be defense exhibits 12, 13, 14, and or 15, for her to make that comparison, you may do so. They're in evidence.
May I be heard at the bench?
Yes.
Ma'am, even with the request to make a comparison between two current photographs of the two individuals involved, presuming that you're not going to do that today, would you acknowledge that your comparison of the relative size of the two individuals was based upon the aged photographs that we've just reviewed?
Yes.
And that alone? And that, in effect, you were comparing Mr. Zimmerman, this person, right? This is the Mr. Zimmerman that you saw that night, correct?
Yes.
And we reference 45, Exhibit 45. You're comparing him to the football picture, correct?
Yes.
And to the hoodie picture, correct?
Yes.
And to the other football, the even younger football picture, correct?
Yes.
You have not seen any current photographs of Mr. Trayvon as he existed that night, have you?
That's correct.
Have you had a chance to review the video of the 7-Eleven that was now in evidence?
No.
Might just have a moment. Just one or two more now. So in sum, you were in the house and heard various occurrences outside that caught your attention?
Yes.
Howling, there was some noise. You went outside and saw another neighbor whose name you don't know across the way looking at the two individuals on the ground?
Yes.
You heard a shot, correct?
Yes.
You went outside and you saw a person walking about. Is that accurate?
I didn't go outside. I just looked out.
And I apologize. I said that now a second time. When you looked out, that after the shot, you saw somebody lying on the ground.
Yes.
And you saw somebody walking around.
Standing up, yes.
Standing up. Did you see that person walk around at all?
I don't remember.
At some point, your husband then went outside, correct?
Yes.
Did you see that person who was standing up talking to your husband?
Yes.
Okay. So the person who was standing up earlier was the person talking to your husband, correct?
Yes.
Who you know to be George Zimmerman.
Yes.
But you're not certain as you sit here today who was where in that altercation, are you?
No.
Because your sole comparison was the 12-year-old picture?
Yes.
Thank you. Nothing further on.
Thank you. Any redirect?
Based on your determination of height and weight and build, were you comparing the two out there?
Yes.
And based on what you saw on TV, forget about how old the picture is of Trayvon Martin. If you were to hear that he only weighed 158 pounds, and Mr. Zimmerman,
Your Honor, that is...
I'll be glad to rephrase the question.
Okay.
Did you believe Trayvon Martin was skinnier and smaller than George Zimmerman?
Objection, Your Honor. Improper predicate. She's testified. I don't want to speak to the objection. Improper predicate.
Overruled. This is redirect.
Mr. Zimmerman, based on what you observed, was bigger than the other person, correct?
Objection, Your Honor. Leading.
Sustained.
You've already testified in direct testimony and in cross-examination that Mr. Zimmerman was the bigger of the two individuals, correct?
Objection, Your Honor. Asked and answered.
Overruled.
Mr. Zimmerman was the bigger of the two individuals you saw out there, correct?
Objection, Your Honor. That is a mischaracterization of the evidence.
Okay, overruled. She can correct whatever testimony she believes is not being stated correctly.
I'm sorry.
Mr. Zimmerman was the bigger of the two people out there, correct?
Comparing the picture, yes.
Okay. Now, you were asked about the comparisons. Mr. O'Mara asked you about interviews you gave to the police. Remember,
Yes.
to Detective Sereno, and then also to FDLE?
Yes.
Okay. And Mr. O'Mara asked you about the interview you gave to the FDLE. I believe that's... Madam Clerk, may I? Lee, may I have first witness your
Yes, you may.
The defense showed you Exhibit Q. Remember looking at that interview that you gave to Detective Crosby with FDLE on March 20th? Remember looking through that?
Yes.
And you remember Mr. O'Mara asking you about, did you ever talk about a description of the individuals you saw out there? The person you saw stand up after the shooting, the person you saw on top?
Yes.
And you stated specifically that they never asked you to describe the size of that individual. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Okay. Now, isn't it true, ma'am, that 6 days later, and if I may approach the witness, Your Honor, and mark this for identification.
You want to show it to counsel?
I apologize. It's the she gave you March 26th.
I would object to improper bolstering of the witness. That was never crossed on in cross-examination. I just have identified.
Okay. Let him mark it for an exhibit and approach the bench.
And I'm showing you, I apologize.
Yes, you may.
I'll show you what's for mark identification purposes only. State Exhibit 2R. You were asked by Mr. O'Mara, and the other exhibit in front of you, that was the FDLE interview, the transcript of that. You were asked by Mr. O'Mara about whether you had, on March 20th, stated something about, could you identify either person? And you recall that you stated already that you were never asked that question. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Okay. Now, do you recall March 26, 2012, where I went to your house and took a sworn statement of you, and I specifically asked you about the individuals, whether you could identify either one?
Yes.
And do you recall in that sworn statement on March 26, 2012, that you stated that I think Zimmerman is definitely on top because of his size?
Yes.
Now, in addition, after that, ma'am, do you recall giving a deposition where you were questioned by Mr. West, where I was president, you were asked about the same matters, and also stating at that time that you could identify Mr. Zimmerman because you had seen him on TV, the photograph on TV, and that based on his size, it was Mr. Zimmerman on top?
Yes.
Regarding the two individuals you now know as Trayvon Martin and Mr. Zimmerman, you never saw Trayvon Martin actually stand up, did you? He was on the ground the whole time, Trayvon Martin. You never saw him standing up.
At that time, I don't know who they are. Right. I know one is down, one is standing up.
He never got up after being shot and walked around.
Correct.
Thank you. No further questions. Person witness to the previous item.
Judge just has a question here.
You might have a what?
Question?
Yes, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
If I wouldn't mind the exhibit as well.
You want to leave that?
Oh, no. I'll take it when you can. Thank you. I'm sorry? Yes, thanks. I want to focus your attention on 2R for a moment. I think Mr. Delarionda said that, didn't you say these words? Okay, so the guy on top to you appeared to be bigger, and your answer was yes. Right? That's what you said?
Yes.
In all fairness, that's a bit out of context, isn't it? Let me approach the witness, Your Honor. Let's put it in maybe a touch more context. Can we do that by having you read the 2 or 3 sentences before that, okay? I want you to read it out loud so the jury can hear you well and that Mr. Delarionda can hear you.
I apologize. What page?
Oh, it's just 3 lines before what you had her read. Page 2 or 3 at the bottom. Let's start right with Mr. Delarionda's statement. Just read that out loud, if you would. Slowly.
How would you describe their physique at all? Of the guy on top or the guy on the bottom?
Okay. Go ahead. And what was your answer?
I know after seeing the TV of what's happening.
And then I'm sorry, then what did you say?
And then Mr. Dion would say, okay. And then I said, comparing their pictures.
Okay. Keep going, then go to the point that Mr. Delarionda had you focus on.
I think Zimmerman is definitely on top because of his size.
Right. But again, not because you had independent thought that he was on top, but only because you compared the pictures that we just talked about, right?
Yes.
That was the only reason.
Objection, Your Honor. Be honest, to redirect.
I'm hoping this is the last question on recross.
It is, Your Honor. So, the only basis for your comparison, again, was not, as you said, in response to the redirect question. You just thought he was on top because you thought he was on top, but only because of the comparison of the pictures of the 12-year-old child, right?
Yes.
Nothing further.
Thank you. You get the last questions because this is your witness, and you redirect.
The person who was on top is the person who got up, right?
Yes.
Thank you. No further questions.
Thank you. May Ms. Manalo be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you very much. You are excused.
Thank you.
Thank you. The State, please call your next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. The State will recall Ms. Ramona Rump.
If you'll please swear in the witness.
Just tell me to answer any testimony, especially will be the truth and the truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God? I do. Thank you.
You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Hello again, Ms. Rump.
Hello.
I think when last we left, we were talking about the 911 calls in connection with this case, specifically 3 of the 911 calls, and we were going to make sure that we knew the disconnect times. If I could take you back, I think you testified earlier that what I'll call the Lauer call, and that is incident number 1669, connected at 19:16 and 11. Were you able to tell us now the disconnect time for that call?
Yes.
And what time is that?
19:18:40.
Thank you, ma'am. And I guess for those of us who maybe don't speak military times, that 7:18 and 40 seconds p.m.?
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
I'm going to move to incident number 1680. That is what we've labeled the Serdica call. The connection time, I think you testified to that, was 19:17:06. Was that correct?
Yes.
And were you able to tell us the disconnect time for that call?
Yes.
What is it?
19:31:35.
Thank you, ma'am. And finally, as it relates to the 911 calls, the good call, which is incident 1686, I think you told us that the connection time was 19:17:15. Could you tell us the disconnect call, please? Disconnect time, please.
19:03.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're
Now,
welcome.
as it relates to the communication center, you told us that there are two separate numbers, 911, and I think you called it the non-emergency or administrative line.
That is correct.
What is the phone number for that line?
688-5070.
Is that area code 407?
I'm sorry, yes.
So 407-688-5070?
Yes.
All right. And we'd also previously discussed, and I'm going to move to those now, additional non-emergency calls placed to that line beginning August 3rd of 2011. You remember that discussion?
Yes.
And I think we had played the first one. If I may approach, Your Honor.
Yes, you may.
I'm sure you have already had this is Exhibit 171, which is the recording, and 172, which I believe are the accompanying paper reports that you'd earlier referenced.
The CAD events, correct.
There are a total of 5 of those.
Yes.
All right. I'd first like to start, I guess, let's go chronologically, if you would. The first one of those 5 was dated when?
August 3rd, 2011
And about what time of day?
at 18:45.
Okay. If I may publish, Your Honor?
Yes, you may.
Thank
Let
you.
me just maintain my continuing objection, Your Honor, for these and future similar calls.
You may do so, and your objection is sustained. Overruled, I'm sorry.
Airport Police Department, the line is recording. This is Teacher.
Hey, our neighborhood got burglarized or robbed today, and my wife, I saw one of the kids that did it, and we see someone that matches his description in the neighborhood right now again.
Okay, and what's your address out there?
I'd rather not give out my address because he's obviously in the neighborhood, but it's Retreat View Circle. You can use 1111, which is the clubhouse.
Okay, so does he live in the neighborhood, or he's just out
I
walking?
don't know. It's the first time I've ever seen him.
Okay. And what is your name?
My name is George.
Your last name, George?
Zimmerman.
And your phone number you're calling from?
407-435-2400.
Okay. And is he white, black, or Hispanic?
Black.
What's
My
he
wife
wearing?
talked to Detective Walker and gave him a description of the guy we see now.
Okay. What's he wearing right now?
A white tank top and black shorts, brown sandals, and black socks.
Okay. And is he walking?
Yes.
Okay. And so is he near the...
The back entrance to the neighborhood.
So he's at the back entrance?
Yeah. Just went between the houses. He just went between the houses to the back?
Yeah.
You were looking at the car. I'm not. Why not?
Okay, we'll get an an officer out there to check the area.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Ms. Rumpf, what is the date and time for the next call in chronological order?
August 6, 2011, at 22:20 hours. That would be 10:20.
Thank you.
Tampa Police Department, my name's recorded. This is Nicole. How can I help you?
Hi, there was a break-in in my neighborhood recently, and two youths that matched the description of the people. My wife ID'd them and saw them. They're back in the neighborhood.
What's the address?
You can use 1111 Retreat View Circle, Sanford, Florida. Or you know that, right?
Twin Lake Townhouse?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And what do they look like? Are they white, black, or Hispanic?
Black males, two black males in their late teens. One's wearing a black, white beard, black tank top, and black shorts. And the other one's wearing a black shirt and blue jeans. And they're at the back gate of the neighborhood.
Okay. Approximately how old are they?
Late teens.
Okay. You want to leave your name or number?
I can leave my name and my number, and I'll actually be at the back gate to let the officers in because there's no code there.
What's your name?
It's George, and it's 407-435-2400.
Okay.
If you'll let the officers know, they typically run away quickly, and I think they head over to the neighborhood, the next neighborhood over, so you may want to send the unit over to Calabria Cove.
What's it called?
Calabria Cove.
Okay. Yeah, Cove. All right, I'll let them know, and they are on the way, okay?
Okay, thanks.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.
Ms. Rumpf, what is the date and time for the next call in chronological order, please?
September 23rd, 2011, at 23:08, and that'll be 11:08.
Thank you.
Police Department, this line is being recorded. This is Vicki.
Hi, Vicki. My name is George, and I live at the Retreat of Twin Lakes subdivision.
Okay.
I'm part of the Neighborhood Watch, and I just wanted to let you guys know that somebody left. We've been plagued with some robberies, burglaries, and somebody did leave their garage door open.
Hold on, sir. 1 second. I've got my units calling me. Hold on. 1512. 10-4, sir. Go ahead. Stand by. Hold on for me just 1 moment, sir. I apologize.
No problem.
Paper back to 1512. Reference Justin McKinney. 1029P is 1054. No local. Showing a valid DL out of Manhattan, Kansas. At 2310. Okay, somebody's got their garage door open, you said?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay, do you know the address of where the garage door is open?
As far as I can tell, because it's poorly lit, I believe it's 2040 Retreat View Circle. Of course, Sanford, Florida.
Okay.
House.
And you said there's been a lot of break-ins there lately?
Yes, ma'am. We actually just had our neighborhood watch meeting yesterday. Sergeant Hurts came out here, and Officer Buchanan.
Okay.
Told us to report anything suspicious, and it's late, and they usually don't have their garage door open all night, so.
Okay, and George, what is your last name?
Zimmerman.
And what's the telephone number in case we need to call you back?
407-435-2400.
Okay, are there any cars in the garage or the driveway, just so we can make sure we're going to the right?
Yep, there's in the garage. There's a silver Nissan Xterra.
Okay, we've already got an officer heading that way, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sure, thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ms. Rumpf, what is the next call and date and time in chronological order, please?
October 1st, 2011 at 00:53. That would be at 12:53 a.m.
For police, this line today, Recorder Sharon speaking.
Hi, I was just calling because we've had a lot of break-ins in our neighborhood recently, and I'm on the neighborhood watch. And there's two suspicious characters at the gate of my neighborhood. I've never seen them before. I have no idea what they're doing. They're just hanging out, loitering.
What's the address?
1111 Retreat View Circle. And that's Sanford, Florida.
Twin Lakes townhouses?
Yes, ma'am. No, I'm Retreat at Twin Lakes, yes.
So, yes, that was Twin Lakes townhouses?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Can I get your name and a callback number?
George, and it's 407-435-2400.
And George, can I get a last name?
Zimmerman.
And Mr. Zimmerman, can you describe the two individuals?
Two African-American males. They looked, I know one was in a white Impala.
How old did they look to you?
Mid to late 20s, early 30s.
They're in a Chevy Impala. Did you get a license plate?
A white, no. It's a white Chevrolet sedan. It's either an Impala or aluminum, but I think it's an Impala.
Can you still see them?
No, ma'am. I didn't want to attract attention.
How long ago were they out there?
Just, 10 seconds ago. I just called. I called it 10 seconds ago.
All right, we'll send someone out there and see what we can do, okay?
Thank you, ma'am. Have a great night.
You too. Bye-bye.
And Ms. Rumpf, what is the last call date and time in chronological order, please?
February 2nd, 2012 at 20:29 hours, and that would be 8:29.
Sanford Police Department, this line's been recorded. This is Renee.
Hey, can I get an officer to 1960 Retreat View Circle?
Your name?
George.
You said 1960?
Yes, 1960.
What's going on there, George?
I'm with the neighborhood watch, and we've had some burglaries and vandalism lately. And this gentleman was walking in the neighborhood. I've seen before on trash days, going around picking up trash. I don't know what his deal is.
Is he white, black, or Hispanic?
It's black.
What is he wearing?
He's wearing a black leather jacket, a black bomber hat.
Black, what kind of hat?
Like a bomber hat, like the ones that have the ears, like that you can fold down.
Black leather jacket, black hat, and what else?
And like flannel printed pajama pants.
And what is he doing?
He keeps going to this guy's house. I know him. I know the resident. He's Caucasian. And he's going up to the house and then going along the side of it and then coming to the street and then going back to the side of it. I don't know what he's doing. I don't want to approach him personally. If you have an officer available, I'd probably have him stop on Reinhardt across the street from Walter Meets Bentley and go around the back.
Okay, George, what's your telephone number you can be reached at?
407-435-2400.
Okay, we'll get one out there. Thanks for calling.
Thanks, guys.
And Ms. Rumpf, do those CAD reports, are you able to tell from those if, you mentioned earlier that you update or change events in that system as things go on. Do any of those reports indicate whether the police actually made contact with anybody in connection with any of those incidents?
Yes, on two of them.
Which two, please?
Just one moment, please. On event 2011-218-2217, which would be dated August 6, 2011, we did make contact with 2 subjects.
And what was does the code that's entered in the records tell you sort of what happened or if anything else happened beyond that?
On this particular call, they did a field contact report.
So there's nothing beyond that?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. What was the second one?
The second one was dated August 1st, 2011, and we came in contact with 2 subjects. And
I'm sorry, August 1st?
I'm sorry, October 1st, 2011. And we came in contact with 2 subjects.
Okay. So then again, no further?
No report taken.
Thank you. No other questions, Your Honor.
Cross?
Yes, thank you. Let's start with the last first, Ms. Smith, if we could. So, on the call of October 1st, 2011, police were dispatched, correct?
Correct.
And they actually found the people that Mr. Zimmerman called in about, correct?
They ran 2 names, yes, sir.
Right.
2 subjects, yes, sir.
That's in response to the phone call, right?
Yes, sir.
That was the phone call where he said it was late in the morning, wasn't it? Almost 1 o'clock in the morning?
00:53 hours,
Yeah.
yes, sir.
And there were 2 black males in a white Impala hanging out by the gate in their late 20s, early 30s, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Does that form tell you anything else about the contact with those people?
No, this one does not.
Did it tell you, for example, that they were residents or not residents?
This one does not.
Would it have been a field contact even filled out if they had been residents?
You would have to ask the responding unit that on that particular case.
Okay, good. Who is that?
The responding officers on this case were, just 1 second, Officer Jack Murray.
Murray?
Yes, sir.
Agency?
Sanford Police Department.
Okay. So he would be able to clear up for us and fill in more of the facts about this case, correct?
Correct. And there's also another officer.
Yes, ma'am.
Officer Jordan Beecham, also Sanford Police Department.
Okay. And describe what exactly a field report is. Just when officers do respond?
It's when you come in contact with a person and you're just obtaining basic information on the person.
Gotcha. There could also have been additional paperwork generated by Sanford Police Department, correct?
On this particular event?
Yes, let's say yes on this one.
If it was, it would not be to my knowledge.
It doesn't all go to, you're just looking at the non-emergency or 911 call data, correct?
Correct.
And that ends with something like a dispatch or a field report where they may send it back to you. We did a field report on this incident?
On this particular incident, sir, they cleared it with the disposition of V. Victor, which is an indication of no report.
Gotcha.
On the other event, the disposition code was a Q Quebec, which is field contact, which means that they did obtain the information and one of the subjects did live there.
Okay. So let's then go to the other field contact, the one on 8/6 of 2011.
Yes.
That was the concern about the youth matching the description of a previous recent burglary, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And there was a field contact with that?
On this, there was.
Okay. And it was identified that one of the people lived in the subdivision, correct?
If I remember correctly, yes, sir.
Now, do you know on the 2212 event? Let's go to that one for a minute.
Okay.
Were you aware that the person who was identified in that report was arrested for a burglary in that neighborhood and he lived in that subdivision?
No, I'm not aware of that. It's not indicated.
So we've talked about 8-6, 10-11. I'm sorry, 10-1-11.
Yes.
Any other information on your discovery besides what you've talked about so far?
No, sir.
You've had a chance. Have you ever been a dispatch or a 911 operator yourself? Is that how you moved up the ranks or no?
Yes.
Okay, so you've actually probably listened to, I'm going to guess, thousands of these calls?
Yes.
Okay. You've heard these here today, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Individually, and then as a whole, individually, the August 3rd, 2011 phone call, did you hear anything of concern to you in Mr. Zimmerman's voice, the way he was presenting himself?
Objection, just be honest here. She's testifying as a witness custodian.
Sustained.
It would be heard at the bench, Your Honor?
No, you can call her as her own witness.
Can I call her now, out of order?
No.
So not to waste her time or ours?
No.
Is there anything in your database that would suggest that the system, those who view the system, had any concerns with 5 calls over 6 months being placed by one person? Is there?
Can you read?
Sure. Any concerns with the fact that a concerned citizen called 5 times in 6 months?
By myself or by...
Well, I guess I can't ask you your personal opinion yet until you're my witness. So specifically to the system, I mean, do you identify or highlight problem callers, prank callers, so that you know what it is? Do you guys record or have some database that addresses things like that?
No, we do not.
Okay. In your experience, not to the particular calls, but is this an unusual amount of calls in 6 months from a neighborhood watch person involved in his community?
I would not be able to answer that without going back and doing research to an event related such as this.
Just a moment, Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Any redirect?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. May Ms. Rump be excused?
Certainly.
Do you still want her?
We're going to have to leave her as
You're
our witness.
excused subject to being recalled. You may leave the courtroom now.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Call your next witness, please.
Here we call Rachel Gentile.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that your testimony in these proceedings will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God? Thank you.
You may proceed.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Could you state your name for the record and spell your last name?
Rachel Gentel, Gentel.
Ms. Gentel, what is your date of birth?
February the 1st, 1994.
And you are how old right now?
19.
Okay. Have you previously gone by the name of Diamond or Dee Dee nicknames?
Yes.
Okay. And you currently live in Miami?
Yes.
Where were you born?
Miami.
Okay. Where did you grow up?
Miami.
Okay. Is your family originally from where?
Haiti and Dominican.
Okay. Haiti and Dominican Republic?
Yes.
Okay. Was your mother born in Haiti?
Yes.
And you live with your mother?
Yes.
Are you going to school at this time?
Yes.
And what school are you going to?
Miami Northern Senior High.
And what grade will you be in starting in the fall?
12.
While you were growing up in Miami, did you become friends with a person by the name of Trayvon Martin?
Yes.
In fact, did you go to elementary school with him?
Objections leading.
I'll be glad to rephrase it. While you were in elementary school, did you meet Trayvon Martin when he was in school with you?
Yes.
Okay. And later, specifically in February of 2012, last year, did you end up having contact with him again?
Yes.
Okay. Specifically in February of 2012, did he end up coming by your neighborhood, and did you end up
He came
talking
around
to
my
him?
area.
Okay. Did you ever actually formally go out on a date with him?
No. We were just friends.
I want to focus on February 26th of 2012, that Sunday. Were you living in Miami, and were you in Miami on that date?
Yes.
Okay. And were you aware that Trayvon Martin was up in Sanford on that day?
Yes.
Okay. Did you talk to Trayvon Martin that day on the telephone?
Yes.
And during that day, did you talk to him several times on the phone?
Yes.
Back in February of 2012, was your phone number 786-419-3726?
Yes.
And was Trayvon Martin's number 786-312-9558?
Yes.
Okay. Having interacted with Trayvon Martin prior to talking to him that day, do you know what type of phone did he have? Did he have a cell phone?
Yes.
Okay. And did he have a cell phone that had, I don't know what you call those
Headset.
things? Headset?
Yes.
And do you know how that was controlled?
Yes.
How was it controlled?
He had a headset.
Like plugs
there.
going into your ear, and
yeah,
you have a
button to talk to,
okay.
like a speaker.
Now, that evening, were you all talking on the telephone?
Yes.
And did he describe something to you that occurred?
Yes.
Okay. I want to focus, when you were talking to him on the phone, did he describe being at a particular place and the weather conditions?
Yes.
Tell us about that if you could.
What happened at the store? Or
Yes, at the store.
He was going to the store for his future stepbrother, I think named Chad.
Okay. Did he say what he was going to go get at the store?
A candy in Arizona.
Okay. Did he tell you the particular store that he was going to, or was
No, corner store in this.
Okay. And did he describe the weather condition, whether it was sunny, rainy, snowy,
It
or
was
what?
about to rain when he was going.
Okay.
It was about to rain when it was going.
Now, did that conversation with Trayvon Martin continue throughout there, and then also what followed?
Yes.
Okay. And doing your conversations with Trayvon Martin, at some points did your phone and his disconnect?
Yes.
Okay. And did either he call you back or you call him back?
He called me back.
Okay. Now, at some point, did Trayvon Martin describe going back to the neighborhood, to the retreat at Twin Lakes, the complex where he was staying at?
Yes.
Okay. I want to pick up from there. Did he describe when he was at the complex something happening?
Yes.
Tell us, if you can, what he described happening.
A man was watching him.
When he told you that a man was watching him, did you say anything to him?
No, I didn't think it was a big idea.
I'm sorry.
I did not think it was a big idea, so no.
And,
I did not think it was.
I did not think it was a big idea, so I did not.
What happens is sometimes you've got two microphones, so it might be a little confusing. Could you just, either move or, that's all right, just get close. You're doing fine, but you have to get close to the microphone so everybody can hear you. Especially this lady right here in front. She's taking everything down, so she needs to be able to hear you. And did he then say something was happening?
Yeah,
okay.
He said the man kept watching him.
Okay. And tell us what happened then.
As he was telling me, the man, he kept complaining that man was just watching him, and I just said how the man looked like.
Okay, hold on.
I would object to the narrative form of the testimony.
I'll be glad to rephrase.
Please, could you please speak up so everybody can hear? Thank you. Go ahead and wait for the question. Ask the question.
You've got a very soft voice, but we make sure everybody can hear you, both sides and everybody. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Mr. Martin, Trayvon Martin, complained.
Yeah.
What was he complaining about?
That a man just kept watching him.
Yeah, I object to the narrative form of the testimony as opposed to the questions of what was said and what the response was.
Okay, if your objection is narrative, it is overruled. You may ask your next question.
After he said that, what did you say anything back to him, or did he say anything back to you?
Yes, I asked him how the man looked like. He just told me the man looked creepy. And
he said the man looked creepy.
Creepy white.
Okay.
Excuse my language, cracker.
Okay, and what did you say? Okay, they're having trouble hearing you, so take your time.
Creepy ass cracker.
Okay, creepy ass cracker.
Was just looking at him. And I said, oh.
Okay. And I know you grew up in a Haitian family, so make sure that everybody can hear you. Try to speak as clear. Okay.
Can you repeat what your answer was, please?
Creepy ass. What's the question?
The question was they want you to repeat your answer when you said what you asked him. What
I asked him how the man looked like. He looked like a creepy ass cracker.
Okay. Let me make sure we got that. Creepy
ass cracker. Yeah.
Okay. Is that what you recall him saying?
Yes.
Okay. And is that to mean like a white individual?
Yes, Caucasian.
What did you say to him, or what did he say to you after that?
So he told me the man was looking at him, so I had to think it might have been a rapist. If he don't know the area, it might have been a rapist.
Okay.
So he told me the man was looking at him, so I had to think it might be a rapist?
Yes.
Okay. Were you saying?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the answer.
Okay, she's going to repeat it. Could you please repeat your answer?
Go ahead.
So he told me the man was looking at him, so I had to think it might be a rapist. She said something after that, but I didn't hear what she said.
Can you repeat? I'm sorry, Madam Court Reporter. Tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready, thank you.
Could you repeat your answer? You said you told him the man might be a rapist?
Yes.
Okay. And what else did you say to him, and what did he say to you?
No, stop playing with him like that.
I'm sorry.
With him like that.
Mr. Trayvon Martin told you stop playing with him like that? Like stop joking like that?
Yeah.
Okay. And then what happened next?
I told him, okay, then why he keep looking at you? So.
Okay. Did Mr. Martin say the guy kept looking at him?
Yeah, and then he just told me he just wanted to try to lose him.
Okay.
But I started walking back home, because the rain calmed a little bit down.
Okay. So Mr. Martin told you he was going to try to lose the man?
Yeah, but I started walking home.
Okay. And did you say anything to him?
No, we're just talking. And then he told me the man following him now.
The man following him?
Yeah.
The man kept following him?
Yes.
Okay. Did he?
Objection. Mr. De La Ronda misstated the witness's testimony in his question. Could we repeat?
I'll be glad.
Just restate your question, and if you could give your answer slowly for us and loud.
You mentioned Trayvon Martin told you this man was looking at him.
Yes.
All right. You told him that.
No, this is leading now.
I'm trying to get to the point.
You're objecting that you can't understand what she's saying. We're trying to get the answer in. So if you could please give us your answer. Ask your question. Give us your answer as slowly and clearly and loudly as you can. Have a seat.
It's really hard for me to see the witness. If I'm seated, we have an obstruction issue in the court.
Okay, this is the first witness that you're telling me you're having an issue with seeing. If you need to move your seat to another place at the table, you may feel free to do so.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. De La Ronda, ask your question, please.
You mentioned that Trayvon Martin said something to you, and you said something back to him. Now follow up after you said about the man.
He started walking home.
Yes.
He started walking home. He told me.
Let me stop you. He said he started walking home.
Yeah, he's going to leave the area where the mailing area at. He's going to leave the mailing area where he was at. Yeah, where you get your mail.
All right, and I'll make sure that everybody understands what you're saying. Did you say he said he's going to leave the mailing area where he's at?
Yes.
Okay, what did you take that to mean?
That he's leaving the area. He said he's going to start walking home.
Okay, so then what happened?
So, and then we started talking about something else, about the All-Star game. Telling me the All-Star game. Okay. Telling me go check for him.
All right.
If it's on.
Okay. So Mr. Martin told you he was leaving the mailing area where he was at.
And then.
And you started talking about something else.
Yeah.
What did you and Mr. Martin talk about?
The All-Star game.
The All-Star game meaning what? The basketball All-Star game?
The All-Star game that was happening that day.
Okay. Then what happened?
And then he said the nigga still following me now. That nigga is still following me now.
That he's still following him?
Yes.
Okay, did he use a word to describe that?
Let's go slowly.
Now the nigga's still following me.
Okay. Pardon my language, but did he say the word, pardon my language, did he use the word nigger to describe the man now?
Yes.
Okay.
That's slang.
That's slang?
Yeah.
Okay. And he said, use the N-word to describe the man following him still.
Yeah, now following him.
Now following him. Yeah. Okay. And what I want you to do, Rachel Gentile, is...
Please, yes, ma'am.
He's now following? I'm sorry, I just didn't hear.
Okay, can we, one more time, please give that answer again.
He said, he told me now that man is start following him. They follow him.
Okay, you can't ask your questions. If you can't understand, just raise your hand.
I apologize, but we have a obstruction here that the wants to just clear. I'm going to wait a minute for Mr. West to reposition himself, so with the court's permission.
No, I think the witness changed her answer from the first time. Could we have it read back rather than having the answer just repeated differently?
No, she can answer the questions. Ask the question again.
Ms. Gentile, you mentioned what happened next. Tell me what happened next.
Okay.
Yes, we need the last question. After you started talking about the All-Star game, you started to say what Mr. Martin said to you on the phone. Could you please repeat it slowly and loudly?
Now the nigga is following me.
Thank you.
After Mr. Martin said the N-word and said he's following me, what happened then?
And then he just told me, and then I just told him run, and he said not.
Okay. You told him to run?
Yeah.
And what did, if anything, did Mr. Martin say?
He said, no, he almost right there. So he almost right by his daddy, fiance house.
So, Mr. Martin, you told him to run, and he said no, he's almost by his daddy's.
I object. It's a misstatement of the
Okay, please sit down. Could you please give your answer again? You have to say it slowly and loudly. Okay?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Here's what you need to do: is move that microphone if you could a little bit. No, the one in the middle, the small one. You got two of them. I don't know if that one's working.
That's not the one. Bobby, could you lift the other one up just a little bit? I think we've been having problems with that microphone all along. I think it has to be tilted up. Could you speak into there and let's see if we can hear you?
Okay, thank you. Try. Just tell us what you said. Go ahead.
And then he starts. He told me he's almost there. So as he was walking, he just complaining he's the man still following him. And then he told me he's gonna run from the back.
Okay, let me stop you a second.
Wait, he's going to run from the back?
Yeah, run from the back. And I said, oh. And then a second later, he said he about to run from the back. And then I started hearing wind, and then the phone just shut off. And I had called back.
Stop a second to make sure everybody's got it, because there's some people writing down notes. Take your time.
And then the phone just shut off. And then I had called back. He answered.
Okay. The phone.
Wait. And then the phone just shut off, and then I had called back, and he answered?
Yes.
Okay. Let me interrupt you a second. When you say the phone cut off, meaning your connection with Mr. Martin?
Cut off because he started running from the back area.
And did you call him back or did he call you back?
I called him back.
And when you called him back, were you able to, again, start talking to him on the phone?
Yeah.
Did Mr. Martin, then when you called him back, did you say something to Mr. Martin or did he say something to you? And take your time when you're answering.
He said I asked him where he at, and he told me he at the back of his daddy fiance house, like in the area where his daddy fiance by his daddy fiance house. Like I said, oh, you better keep running. He said, nah, he lost them.
Okay, just stop a second. This lady's got to take everything down, so you make sure you're okay. So after he said he lost him, what happened then?
And he said he bought the area that his daddy house is, his daddy fiance house is. And I told him keep running. He said nah, he'll just walk faster. I was like, oh, and I had complaints because he was breathing hard, so I understand why. So
what happened after that?
And then a second later, Trayvon said, oh shit. A couple of seconds later, Trayvon said, oh shit.
Okay, let me interrupt a second. When you say the words, oh shit, pardon my language, who said that?
Trayvon.
He said it to you?
Yes.
Okay. And after he used, pardon my language, he said, oh shit, what happened then?
The nigga behind me.
I'm sorry.
The nigga behind me.
Okay, he used the N word again and said, the nigger is behind me?
Yeah.
Okay. And did you say anything to him at that time?
I told him, you better run. And he had told me he almost by his daddy fiance house. So I said, oh, and then I just closed my room door that connects to my door in the bathroom.
Okay, let me make sure the jury understands that. You're not talking to Mr. Martin at that time. You're actually in a room, and you did what in your house?
It was in my bathroom. I was trying to fix my hair for school the next day.
Okay, so you were talking. How were you able to talk and fix your hair at the same time?
On Bluetooth.
You were on Bluetooth?
Bluetooth.
Okay. So while you were talking to him, you had a Bluetooth connection.
Yes.
And did you tell him, hold on, I'm going to go fix my hair, or you just did it? You're just telling the jury what you did?
I just did it.
Okay.
Because the phone was just in my pocket, so.
Okay. What happened then after you went to another room, closed the door, and were fixing your hair?
I just closed the door.
Okay, I'm sorry, you closed the door?
Yeah.
Are you still talking to him at this point?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell us what happened then.
And then I say, Trayvon. And then he said, why are you following me for? And then I heard a hard breath man come and say, what you doing around here?
Okay.
Wait a minute. And then I say, Trayvon, and then he said, why are you following me for? And then I heard a hard
breathing man say, what you doing around here?
A hard breathing man saying,
what you doing around here?
Okay. Let me interrupt you. Is what you just told us a conversation that you're having with Trayvon or Trayvon's having with somebody else?
What happened with someone else?
Okay. That's what you're hearing?
Yeah.
Okay. Then what happened?
Then I started saying, Trayvon, what's going on? Then I heard a bump. And I had a feeling it was a bump because the headset. Trayvon had a headset.
You heard a bump?
Yeah, a bump.
And what did you assume that was?
The headset.
Okay. What happened then?
Then I started hearing grass sound and grass sound, wet grass sound.
What do you mean you heard grass sound?
Like grass, wet grass.
Okay. Then what happened?
And then I was calling Trayvon. And then I started hearing a little bit of Trayvon saying, get off. It's crap.
Okay, let me stop you a second. You heard a grass sound and then you said something. What did you say?
I was trying to say, Trayvon, what's going on?
And what did you hear?
Trayvon, I kind of heard Trayvon saying, get off.
Then what did you hear?
Then the second later, the phone hung up. The phone shut off.
Okay. When the phone shut off, what happened then?
And I had to call him back.
You called Trayvon Martin back?
Yes.
Were you able to talk to him again?
No.
Did Trayvon Martin, ever call you back?
No.
Did you ever talk to Trayvon Martin again?
No.
At some point, you found out that Trayvon Martin had been killed. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you recall, in relation to that Sunday when you had a phone call with him, when it was approximately that you found out that something had happened to Trayvon Martin?
It was a rumor. It was a rumor that Monday when I went to school. Like after
it was a rumor.
That Sunday he passed. Monday it was a rumor going around his school. I have friends that go around his school, that go to his school, saying that he passed away. Okay. I ain't believe it.
Okay. Let me interrupt you a second. At school, people were saying something happened to him?
Yeah, that he died.
And you did not believe it?
Mm-mm.
When did you officially find out that he was dead?
That Tuesday afternoon.
Okay. And do you recall how you found out that he died?
Because my friend had sent me
okay.
A text of an article.
Okay, so you found out in the media or people told you?
Yeah, my friend had sent me a text of an article saying Trayvon's name, that he died. And I had asked her what time that he died. And I had to look at my phone. My phone said 7:16. Then the phone hung up.
Okay. So you found out that Trayvon Martin was dead, and then you were trying to figure out whether, in relation to the last time you spoke to him?
Yeah, I was trying to figure out how he died. Okay. It was just a fight. Okay. How he died, it was just a fight. That last time I had talked to him, the fight broke out.
Okay. You stated that a fight broke out. Tell us what you mean by that. Tell the jury what you mean by that.
It's just a fight broke out. It was not, I didn't take it serious, just a fight broke out. And I had thought he was already by his daddy's house, that somebody would come help him, because by the Mellon area you could hear his sound and stuff. And I thought the daddy was there, so.
You didn't realize that the last time you spoke to him was the day he died?
Yeah.
Okay. At some point, did Trayvon Martin's dad call you up and tell you, in terms of figured out that you were the last person to have spoken to him on the phone?
Yes.
Okay. Now, ma'am, did you find out that Trayvon Martin had a wake and a funeral too?
Yes.
Okay. And you did not go to that, correct?
No.
Okay. When Trayvon Martin's dad called you up, did you tell him that you were the last person to have talked to him? Are you all right? Do you need to take a break?
No.
Okay. Do you want some water or something? Or okay. At some point, you found out that people wanted to talk to you about this case, about what you had heard?
When his father called?
Yes.
Really much, I did not know what, like, if I was any way in this case. Like, when my friend did go to the wake, and they did,
okay.
They said they had got the man, so I said, okay. She went to the wake.
Yeah, a friend of yours went to the wake?
Yeah, like some of my friends went to the wake. Okay. And they had said his body was there. That his body, he dead.
Okay. Why didn't you go to the wake or to the funeral?
I didn't want to see the body.
I'm sorry, what?
I didn't want to see the body.
You didn't want to see the body?
No.
You ended up speaking to Trayvon Martin's mother and to parents, right?
Yes.
Okay. And did you end up lying about not going, why you didn't go to the wake, the funeral?
Yes.
And why did you lie about not going to the funeral or to the wake?
I felt guilty.
Felt guilty about what?
By them finding out that was the last person who went. That was the last person who talked to their son. That was the last person that talked to their son. And I ain't go to the wake for no respect.
Ms. Gentile, since that time, have you heard a telephone recording where there's cries for help and then a shot? Have you heard that on TV and stuff?
Yes.
Okay. The cries for help, are you able to say whose voice that is or voices that is?
Trayvon. It sounds like Trayvon's.
Probably have a belly on it. I don't have any further questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Carl.
Would this be a good time for a short break for everyone?
Okay. You okay if we take a short break?
Yeah.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a 15-minute recess. If you'll please put your notepads face down on the chairs and follow Deputy Jarvis out of the courtroom.